Welcome back. Thank you for staying on My Health Today. My name is Dr. J, and on this platform, we'll talk about health issues, disease conditions, and useful first aid tips. The aim is to enlighten you with actionable steps you may take in order to live a healthy, happy, and wealthy life. Yes, I said that there's a relationship between hand washing and peptic ulcer. In more than 50% of patients who have peptic ulcer, a bacterial infection called H. pylori has been isolated as the cause. And this infection is transmitted through the fecal-oral routes, which means it's transmitted through poor health and sanitary conditions. Which goes to say that if you take care of your environment, sanitation, and observe appropriate hand washing, you may actually prevent getting peptic ulcer. Don't go anywhere. Once we come back, I'll do justice to that. Thank you for staying with us on today's episode of My Health Today. I remain your host and anchor, Dr. J. And by now, I hope you know the meaning of peptic ulcer, which is a sore on the lining of the stomach. So what are the causes? There are two broad categories of causes of peptic ulcer. One is environmental causes. The second one is hereditary causes. The hereditary causes, it actually doesn't mean that peptic ulcer is inherited directly from a parent to a child, but it is familial, which means peptic ulcer runs in families. Now, if a parent or a sibling has peptic ulcer, there is a chance, is also very likely, that you may also have peptic ulcer. That is why it is familial. But it doesn't necessarily go to say that once your parents have it, you're going to have it. This is actually explained by what we call the two-hit hypothesis. Now, the two-hit hypothesis is a hypothesis that says and tries to explain diseases that have two components, genetic and environmental components. Now, the genetic component is the first hit, which means if you're genetically predisposed. For instance, my mother had peptic ulcer. I also developed peptic ulcer when I was in the university. Now, that genetic predisposition is the first hit, which means I have a chance. There's a likelihood that I will have it. Now, the second hit is the environmental exposure. For instance, when I was in the university, we were exposed to a lot of stress, and then starvation and poor diets. So those other factors now led to the development of the peptic ulcer, which is a second hit. In comparison to my other siblings who didn't go to medical school, they had only one hit, which was the genetic predisposition. That's why they didn't develop it. My other colleagues in the medical school who didn't have the genetic predisposition had only one hit, the environmental factor. So they also didn't develop it. But it's important to note, whether I have the first hit, whether you're genetically predisposed or not, you need to avoid the environmental factors, which is what we'll go into details to see what are the environmental factors. Because the genetic factors, you cannot do anything about it. If your parents had it, you have a chance to have it. There's nothing you can do about it. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with me on this show. My name is Dr. J, and I'm your host on My Health Today. Diet is also a key factor in peptic ulcer disease. Now, the relationship, sometimes it's starvation, skipping diet, or not taking the appropriate food that leads to peptic ulcer. Now, most times, when you're hungry, there's a release of acid, which is normally supposed to digest the food when you eat. Now, in the absence of food when you starve, this acid tends to digest the lining of the stomach, leading to development of peptic ulcer. A lot of other food have also been implicated in causing peptic ulcer, such as peppery food, spicy food, or fried food. Drinks with a lot of gases are also important factors. Stress. Now, stress causes peptic ulcer in a multiplicity of ways. It's not just by one single method, but other lifestyle modifications which happen under stress. For instance, some people take to alcohol or smoking during stress. These are factors that can lead or further aggravate an ulcer situation. Alcohol and smoking are important factors, not just to peptic ulcer, but to your health generally. But especially for peptic ulcer, alcohol and smoking cause chronic irritation of the lining of the gut, leading to ulceration. So my advice would be that you start to decrease your intake, and then gradually you'll come to a point where you can quit, because it is in the interest of your health. So these are the basic environmental factors which can lead to peptic ulcer. Peptic ulcer is a very important public health topic, so we'll need to discuss that in detail, but unfortunately we can't finish in today's episode. So in the next episode, we'll be looking at the treatment and preventive measures. So I encourage you to watch out for the next episode of My Health Today. Send your comments, or messages, or contributions to our social media platforms scrolling on your screen. I'll be glad to have them because I'll personally respond to them. Until I see you again, remember, until what you know becomes what you do, you do not know anything. Take action today, because you may just be the difference between life and death. You may save somebody, yourself, or at least be of help.